What we knew from the victories in the ballot measure campaigns was that if we all came together, we could make something happen.
We come from every walk of life. We're everywhere. And that's the beauty of the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender community. So we do have all of these bridges that we can build partnerships with in other communities.
One of the main focuses was trying to expand and build on the coalitions that had been established during the campaigns.
We've developed partnerships with just about every demographic of people there is.
We also tried to build corporate support, and then finally the support of people of faith.
We must demonstrate at every public setting that people of faith are partners in this struggle for justice.
So if you understand injustice, if you understand oppression, how do you get to say, this is only for me? It's not for other people.
Of course, one of the highlights of Basic Rights Oregon's decade has been the marriages in Multnomah County in March of 2004.
The Oregon Family Council had already submitted petitions to circulate here in Oregon, a constitutional amendment defining marriages between one man and one woman. We needed to break the issue open to give the public a sense of how people's real lives would be affected by such an extreme policy. When the county came to the conclusion that in fact there was nothing holding them back from issuing marriage licenses for same-sex couples, the joy that that people experienced was overwhelming, and it still is.
And it was a great liberating experience for so many people during that time. And we went to Keller Auditorium. It was so moving to see people who'd been together for 10, 20 years and see them cry with joy that they were finally allowed to acknowledge who they were as a family.
The marriages in Multnomah County segued right into a ballot measure campaign which challenged the legality of marriage equality in Oregon.
It was clear that we were in for a really tough fight. We had barely had a few months to start the dialogue with the marriages in Multnomah County.
What I think those marriages and then that campaign did for Oregon was to show that we really do have people in lifetime partnerships all over our state, and that our state could not ignore them anymore.
Even though it was an incredibly painful and heartbreaking loss, we really worked hard to ensure that at the end of the day we would be able to pick up those pieces and move forward.
The Measure 36 campaign raised the awareness of Oregonians all across the state in a way that made it possible for us to pass domestic partner legislation in 2007.
Working with increased grassroots strength and the critical support of legislators, we were poised to move not only the domestic partnership bill, but also the long overdue statewide non-discrimination bill.
And to see the movement build and the support grow throughout the state, and finally to have those bills passed, not just the House, not just the Senate, but all the way across the governor's desk, it's sort of a sea change for our community.
In the winter of 2007, our opponents moved forward with a lawsuit to try and force the referendum on the domestic partnership law to the ballot. And much to our surprise and the surprise of every legal expert we consulted, a district court judge agreed to withhold implementation of the domestic partnership law late in December.
What do we want? Basic fairness. When do we want it? Now!
In some of the worst of our winter weather, late January, we had over 2,000 people gather in Terry Shrunk Plaza for a rally to demand fairness for Oregon families. And we stood together and we made an impact. The law was implemented on February 4th, and we saw hundreds of couples all across this state come out and honor their relationship as domestic partners. And at the same time, our opponents threatened to repeal both the domestic partnership and non-discrimination laws with ballot measures. We fought them every step of the way, challenging ballot titles, ensuring that they couldn't get away with any misleading language, and we ensured that they, in the end, they had to throw up their hands and give up.
The quantum leap of this last decade has been just mind-boggling.
There's so much on the horizon that's really exciting. That's not just about beating back bad ideas, but creating and visioning and finding the funding for wonderful new ideas.
Even though we have laws on the books that prevent discrimination, that allow for domestic partnerships, the work hasn't stopped.
My biggest fear is that people are going to think we've won. We haven't. We made great progress. We've got a lot more work to do.
Oregon is very well positioned to move forward with a strong agenda and really help continue to create change and to become a model for the whole country.